Hi, I'm Beck and food's my life. This weekend we have friends coming over for lunch, so today I'm making dessert. It's been a little bit cool lately, so I think it's time for apple pie, but not just any apple pie. Salted caramel apple pie, and it's coming right up. Okay, so first things first, we're going to make the pastry. And this pastry is absolutely beautiful because of a secret little ingredient. First of all, into our food processor, we're going to add 2 cups of plain flour. Then we're going to add half a cup of icing sugar. The secret ingredient, which gives this pastry a beautiful flavour, 1/3 a cup of custard powder. And 185 grams of chilled unsalted butter that I've chopped up into cubes. Right, we're going to give that a little blitz in the food processor now until all those ingredients resemble a fine crumb. Yep, that looks about right. Perfect. Okay, now to this we're going to add 2 egg yolks and 1 tablespoon of cold water from the fridge. Now we're going to blitz this again until the mixture comes together as a dough. Perfect, so that took about 40 seconds. Now we're just going to lightly flour our board or our bench top, and we're going to empty the contents onto our board to bring it together. So no need to knead as such, just bringing it together. And then we're going to shape it into a disc, wrap it in some Glad wrap or cling film, and keep it in the fridge for at least 30 minutes. So while our pastry is resting in the fridge, we're going to move over now and we're going to make the salted caramel sauce. So in this saucepan, I have it on a medium heat and I'm adding 1 cup of caster sugar to the pan. Now it's going to take about 5 to 7 minutes to melt this sugar down. Make sure you stay at the stove, keep an eye on the sugar while you're here, and keep on moving it. So we want the sugar to melt and caramelize. Okay, so all my sugar has melted. What I'm going to do now is just temporarily take my sugar syrup off the fire. I'm going to put the heat down low. We're going to come back to that in a minute. Now to this sugar, I'm going to add 50 grams of butter, half a teaspoon of salt, give that a good mix, and I'm going to add 3/4 cup of thickened cream. Now don't be worried if it starts to seize up because the cream is very cold and that sugar is very hot, obviously. So pour it in and it might make a few crazy noises. It might start to seize up, but don't stress. We will fix this in a minute. Stir in that cream as best you can. And then we're going to return this back to a low heat and we're going to continue to stir until this is all mixed in and melted. And then what we're going to do is we're going to slowly bring it to a boil so it can thicken. And this is going to be such a yummy sauce. So as you can see, my caramel sauce is boiling now, which is perfect. Lots of lovely little bubbles. And I can tell that that is thickened up. And that's going to continue to thicken up as well. Once now I set this aside, I'm going to let it cool. Okay, so next what I've done is I have peeled, cored, and thinly sliced 3 Granny Smith apples and 2 Pink Lady apples in my bowl. And I have tossed through that 2 tablespoons of lemon juice so that the apple won't turn brown. So my beautiful apple is ready to go. Now, just a warning, you probably will have more apple than you need, but that's always a good thing because I find at the end of this process, I go, oh, I've got some more apple. I'm gonna quickly make another little pie that I can keep in the freezer and just, you know, chuck in the oven one night when it's nice and cold and I want something sweet with a good dollop of ice cream. Anyway, so to this, we're going to add some flavorings. Here I have 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. In my little bowl of spices here, I have 1 teaspoon of cinnamon powder, 1/4 teaspoon of freshly grated nutmeg, and 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. So in they go. And I have 2 tablespoons of plain flour. Use your hands, it's the best way to make sure all of these ingredients are nicely incorporated. Make sure those pieces of apples are coated in these lovely spicy flavors. Now that that's done, it's time to roll out my pastry and start to assemble this pie. So when you are ready to work with your pastry, you need to reserve about 1/3 of this pastry to use for the top of your pie. The rest, I'm going to start rolling out until it's about 5 millimeters thick. Okay, so this is always the job we hate to do the most, is getting the pastry onto your pie dish. So I've oiled my pie dish here. I'm going to keep it close by and I'm going to load the pastry onto my rolling pin. It's very delicate pastry, but the good thing about this pastry is that, you know, if your corners aren't, you know, completely covered, you can just rip a bit here and there and sort of, you know, put it where you want it. So, whoopsies, rolling up my pastry, and then bring my pie dish in. Rolling my pastry back onto my tin. There, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, so now just using your hands to make sure that that pastry is sitting nicely into those corners of your pie dish. Perfect, I'm really happy with that. So now it's time to do some layers of apple and salted caramel sauce, and apple and salted caramel sauce, and apple. So I've filled my pie case now with all that beautiful apple. Now it's up to you how you want to decorate the top. I have used that extra 1/3 of my pastry and I've rolled that out flat. I'm going to do a lattice effect on top, so I've cut mine into strips, but it's completely up to you how you like to do it. So there you have it. I'm really happy with the outcome. This pie looks sensational, but I'm not going to put it in the oven and bake it today because my friends aren't coming till the weekend. The great thing about this pie is that you can freeze it and use it whenever you need to. When I do bake this pie, however, I will set the oven to 200 degrees Celsius and I'll bake it for about 30 minutes until that pastry is a lovely golden brown colour. Don't forget that caramel that we made earlier. Keep that in your fridge. That keeps for quite a while in your fridge in a good airtight container. When you want to serve your apple pie, just heat that caramel sauce in the microwave till it's nice and warm and runny. Good slice of pie with a good lashing of caramel sauce over the top and a dollop of ice cream on top is just going to be perfect. Just before I finish up though, I'm going to do a little bit of an egg wash. So I've got 1 egg here lightly beaten and I'm just going to brush that egg across my pastry, and then on top of that I'm going to put a little sprinkle of raw sugar. It's going to make my pie look a little bit more rustic and it's going to add to the flavour. And there you have it. I'm really happy with that and I can't wait to serve it to my friends. Salted caramel apple pie, it's easy to do and the outcome is just outstanding. So why don't you have a go now? Check out the description box below, find the link to my website and then go there and find the recipe to this amazing apple pie. Don't forget, if you like my videos, please give me the thumbs up, like them, share them, or better still, subscribe so you always know what I'm up to in the kitchen. I'll see you next time.